Okay. Total surprise. So, Rebecca,
Yeah.
tell me why you wanted to do social work.
So I wanted to help people and be able to help them where I didn't feel like I was dancing with my hands tied behind my back.
And then why did you think that social worker would be the way to go if that you wanted to do hands-on stuff like on the street?
Because, again, social work, it's you dance with your hands as well. So you can help people, and in the end, if wherever I'm currently working has a problem with it, I have a code of ethics I'm supposed to follow.
Okay.
So if there's like controversial things that social workers do, and at the end of the day, it comes back to I can use my code of ethics to my advantage.
So does that mean that you will at times do what's right over what's legal
Absolutely.
or socially acceptable?
Absolutely.
All right, that's one of the reasons why I say, and by the way, I'm surprising you with this because I want it to be spontaneous because, like I said, we're going to promote you more and more and more and more because you are the next generation of this, no matter what anybody says.
Thanks.
And I want to say that, okay, that's good because that's the way I always did it, and it caused me a lot of problems, and I hope that you realize it's going to cause you some problems
That's
too.
fine. Dignity and well-being of a person.
Okay, good, because that's what's going to happen. They're going to use it against you, and when you do what's right over what's legal or ethical or what other agencies are doing, then they're going to bash you. So be ready for it. I know. Now, I always say that you're like really, really good, and you are. You're really, really good. Because do I say anything I don't mean?
No.
All right, now, so let me ask you one thing. Why do you think you're so good?
Because I understand them, because I can relate to them on ways that I sometimes wish I couldn't. So, mental health, I struggle with my mental health every single day. So
Okay.
sometimes I relate and understand to them with that. And that, while my degrees are great and I love them and all that stuff, I can understand and relate to a person. And that's not social work necessarily, that's just understanding.
Okay. Do you... All right. Do you consider... Well, I said to you the other day the same thing that I just said. It's just, this is a spontaneous thing. I have no questions written down. So, all right. I said to you the other day that you're the best, you're the next generation. There's nobody else that I would rather do it. Now,
Right.
you said to me in return, now we were actually talking about a person. And I was saying, I'm not going to mention the person's name on here because this isn't about bashing people or praising people other than letting people know who you are. You said if it wasn't for this person, I wouldn't be here. Do you believe that? Because I don't. I don't think that I think you would have, my opinion, you would have wound up here doing what you're doing and doing it as good as you do it and relating to the people as well as you do without X's name helping you. Without me, you would have been here no matter what, no matter if it was V or me or anybody. Don't you agree with that?
To an extent, in my personal and professional opinion, I believe that much of our lives, there's an angle and it's about how you get there. So if you take the high road or the low road, you're going to get there. But the path might be different based off the choices that you make or that occur to you or the things that occur to you in life. So like that particular situation, I don't give that person all of the credit, but they absolutely had an influencing factor because at the time I was fitting to leave social work because I was like, I don't want to be in an office doing like 9 to 5, filling out SNAP forms and all of that, and that's important in social work, but that's not my strength because my anxiety, I gotta keep moving, I gotta keep fidgeting and going. So, well, absolutely those social workers matter and all of that, not putting them down by any means. But I just couldn't, if I would have sat there and been like, oh, the next 30 years of my life are going to be sitting in a desk helping people apply for food stamps, Social Security, and all of that. And I was just like, what in the world did I just sign up for? What in the world? Because I had just I'd been at Rutgers for a little bit, but I was just like, what? This is my career? and I happened to just speak up to someone about it. I was like, I am spending more time on Amazon than I am like learning.
Right.
So yeah, I got moved, and that person showed me things, and there were things that I knew already just from being who I am and the life that I led. But I do like I said, not full credit, but that person did have an influencing factor.
That's good. That's a very, very honest answer. Good. And it's a fair answer, because I tend to put the person we're talking about down at times, but I also know that he's good. He's good.
Yeah.
I mean, I know where he comes from, and I don't come from a good place either, but he's good. And I guess my next question is, even though you know the flaws of him now, and you know mine too, and when other guys that we work with and other people, you still will always pick up something positive to bring to what you are now.
Yeah. Because,
fair enough?
Yeah. Strength-based approach. So, like, strength-based approach is a social work thing. My strength is my biggest weakness. It's a double-edged sword, and that's something you learn while in mental health recovery and in treatment and all of the things. It's a double-edged sword. My weakness is absolutely my anxiety, my depression, but it's also my strength, because that's how I relate, that's how I deal with people. And that person that we're talking, and the way they are able to function out here is his strength is his greatest weakness.
Okay, but I'm not. I just want everybody. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But like everyone, like I'll always look for the positive in people, and it's not something I necessarily have to look for. It's just because yes, I have a master's degree, but that also brings some negative things to it. And there's a puppy.
Tell the people that one of your flaws while you're working. If there's a dead homeless person, you run to a puppy. Just tell them.
Oh, we love the puppy.
Okay. I want you to know the Bex. I want you to know, Rebecca, that I brought the guy up only because it's the only other person that I know that relates to this question. I'm not targeting him for this video.
Right.
Because I really do see good things in him too. There's just something.
He's able to.
Him and I are not compatible in some ways. In some ways, we are.
But like I said, I don't feel he deserves or should have like all the credit. But yes, he was a major factor in it.
Okay, that's a fair answer, and it's the truth. And I'm going to ask you one more thing, because this wasn't prepared, and I wanted to be spontaneous. What? And do I have permission for people to see this? Because this is to promote you. Okay. When I was working, I say this a billion times, but you know that when I was working out here a while ago, a long time ago, how bad, and it was bad. People, it was bad. The police department were bad. Rebecca always says they're good now, and I agree with her. Yes. They're good. From my perspective, they're 180 degrees from where they were. Yeah. Totally opposite. From complete, let's excuse my language, pricks who hurt the homeless physically and mentally, to people who helped. Did you, when you first started, I don't know when that was, like when you were doing with the person we were talking about, were you like fresh out of college?
I was still in college.
You were still in college? When you were interning with them?
Yeah, I was on my bachelor's degree at Rutgers University. And I switched over
excuse me.
From doing textbook, in-office social work. And I spoke up, and that's how I got to outreach. Because I didn't necessarily know it, and I also don't think it was actually talked about in social work schooling about the outreach of social work. Like, they would talk about it, but the fact that this is like my career and this is what I want to do. I want to be doing outreach social work. So I don't feel like and that's not a bash against either one of the schools I went to. It's just textbook social work, therapy, and all that. I didn't want to do that. Okay.
So
there's a squirrel.
So I know you're afraid of him. When you when you first had your first experience with the Atlantic City Police Department, did you have any negative experience like I talk about, or it was always good since you started? And then tell why they're good. I want people to know. It's important that they know how good these guys have become.
I had negative experiences with cops personally from mental health standpoint.
Yeah, me too.
Where I struggled with mental health, and the cops were just not great. They were absolutely horrible, to the point that I literally would get in their faces. I'm like, what in the... and go off on them. And there was certain things, like, they could have done a lot worse than what they had done. But now, seeing the way these cops work, they're absolutely amazing. The cops that we work along with have better mental health training and work with us better than some doctors that I know.
Them you can say their name, by the way.
Who, the cops that we work with?
Yeah, because they wouldn't mind, and I know that, and I want them to know. I want them to be in this. Their name's known.
Okay, like the way the cops we work with, we're talking about the cops I call Pinky in the Brain, Pinky Sanlosi, Officer Shaw, Barbaries, who else? Those are just the ones that I feel like we deal with or that I communicate with on a day-to-day basis. And the way, look at that puppy.
But they represent the whole, in your opinion?
And I feel like, you can't base the entire profession based off those 4 names that I said, but I do feel like if Atlanta City cops have those training, if you take those 4, yeah, they have it. And the way they interact with the mental health struggling, the homeless now, is 20 times better. I personally, and I've talked about this freely, and I have no shame in it because I don't see a need to. I have had anxiety attacks in front of some of those cops I just named, and they did exactly what they were supposed to do.
Name the guy that did it. Give him the credit.
Officer Shock.
Good. Good.
It's not and I had anxiety attack in front of him, and he did exactly what he was supposed to the point that, like, I was still looking back at it, and I give him credit for it, that I was amazed that he did. He just sat there and talked to me. He didn't tell me to calm down. He didn't tell me to relax. They're having me cookies right there, and he just kept giving me cookies. I'm like, you're just going to keep giving? He's like, yeah. And then he even went as far to, like, follow up with me later that day in our shift. And he was like, you good? I was like, verdict's still out on that. And I feel like these cops, they do have the training. They don't sit there and go for hands-on first. They have no problem calling social services. And some of the outreach officers that we deal with, I've had cops, even Nuvrutsky, he's called me for social services. Be like, what do I do? And I've come out. So, like, when people ask, and I've talked about, like, doing outreach out here, and they're like, are you safe out there? I was like, I have ACPD that are my just unlimited, ridiculous big brothers. Because if I come into a problem, I can call them and they'll come. And I will sit there and make jokes at them, and we go back and forth from social services to cops, but they still have my back. And I think it's very important that the community, all the different people, see social services and cops working together.
It's always been important. That's why I started the collaboration with Wentz, but I think it's the best it's ever been.
Yeah. And even Chief Sarkos, he comes out as a member of the community. There was in September usually, there's a suicide prevention walk. And he came to that as a regular person. He wasn't in his uniform. And I had one of my social worker friends out at that event. And I looked at her, I was like, oh, look, it's Chief. And she was amazed. She's like, your chief just comes out like that? I'm like, yeah, it's Chief Sarkos.
Yeah, they're good.
I was like, he wasn't in uniform. He was just there to support the mental health behind it.
Okay.
And she was amazing confused.
What do you see? Okay, I know. See, we're picking up homeless people coming out of an encampment right now. That's what we're trying to do. They're coming out from down there and going over there and over there. We'll take care of that in a minute. But all right, so that was spontaneous. Yeah. Look behind you.
No, not gonna do this.
What? Look behind you.
No.
This is why you do spontaneous videos, to show that she's very good at what she does, but she's afraid of squirrels.
Oh, they're hard.
Which is cool because I'm afraid of some animals too. So anyway, listen, thank you very much, because I appreciate your openness. And I also want to say that I think we should do, but that's up to you, a planned one where people really get to know you on your terms. Like, you can write down what you want to say or questions you want me to ask you, okay?
Can we talk about puppies?
In that one?
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Oh,
why not?
sure.
There's homeless puppies. We just saw the homeless cats in the inlet, right?
Yeah, we fed them.
All right. This is just the beginning, because it's very important that people know who Rebecca is, because Rebecca Broome is her name.
That's me.
And she's very, very good. And I don't say that about many people.
Thank you.
Let me end this now.